Okay, good morning, students. Let us start the class now. Okay. Last class, I continued the schedule techniques, and due to some interruption in my home, I am unable to continue the class. So let me start the topic again. So the second problem, what we are focusing this IAAS scheduling is nothing but scheduling the techniques. How we are going to schedule techniques in prior. So we have to reserve. So if a company wants to reserve some techniques, some resources or some softwares in prior itself, means they have to schedule. For that, we have to keep that resources available at any time. What are the problems they are going to focus on that particular point is nothing but we are going to discuss. In this one, we are having some 4 subtopic. Already the main topic is, second topic is management of virtual machine. In that management of virtual machine, we are having 4 different types of topics. The first topic is anatomy, what we discussed yesterday, and the second topic is distributed management of virtual infrastructure, what we discussed in the previous class. And the third topic what we are going to discuss is scheduling techniques for advanced reservation of capacity. In this, we are having some 4 subtopics. Out of that, the first topic is what we are going to discuss. This is the general thing what we are going to discuss: advanced reservation. We have to reserve the resources what we have need in advance. Which are the resources available in demand? All those things we have to reserve previously in advanced manner. That's why we are going for this one. This can be done by as a commercial, as a private cloud, and there is a project called Hazia who's written this book. So Hazia is a person who written this book. He also has some reservations, some project, how he is going to reserve the resources, like that he is going to explain. Okay, first of all, the first subheading is existing approach. What this existing approach is going to do? In existing approach, how they are going to reserve the resources is nothing but by means of preemption, vacuum, and planning based approach. These are the 3 techniques how they are going to reserve the resources in existing approach. In existing approach, they use a topic called preemption. Okay. What is preemption? A job schedule capable of preemption is nothing but by means of checkpoint process. We are going to do all those preemption concept. Some schedulers support job migration, allowing checkpoint jobs to restart on other available resources instead of having to wait until the preempting job or reservation has completed. What is preempting job in this? If any other person comes into the process, if I am doing some job at that with the help of some resources, I am using one laptop, I'm explaining some topic with the help of my laptop. At that time, if one more person comes and asks me the same laptop, he has to wait until I complete my class. That is known as preemption job. Okay, but what they are in existing approach, they are doing like that only. But there is a concept called checkpoint. What this checkpoint means, the checkpoint based preemption, nothing but jobs executable itself to be a checkpointable. An application can be made checkpointable by explicitly adding that functionality to one application, or transparently by using OS level checkpoint, where the operating system checkpoints a process without rewriting the program or relinking it with checkpointing libraries. So while checkpoint is there, means this is known as reservation. Already I am using the laptop. Anyway, 2 months before itself, one person reserved at this time from 11:05 to 12 o'clock, I have to use that one. If it is like that, means what they has to do means they has to leave the laptop to the person who is already reserved. Thus, a job schedule capable of checkpointing based preemption and migration could be used to checkpoint jobs before the start of an advanced reservation, and by minimizing their impact on the schedule. Anyway, the application and the library level checkpoint approaches burden the user with having some modification of their application to make them checkpointable, which restrict the software environment. On the other hand, this OS level checkpoint is a more appealing option, but still imposes a certain software restriction on resource consumers. This is known as checkpoint concept. And then coming to the next topic concept called vacuum. What is vacuum mean? The full form of VARQ is nothing but virtual advanced reservation for queues. An alternative approach for existing approach is virtual advanced reservation for queues. In this approach, what they are going to do, in previous approach, they used checkpoints, preemption checkpoints. In this approach, they are going to overlay the advanced reservation over some traditional job schedulers. We are going to use some schedulers. So many scheduling algorithms are there. With the help of the scheduling algorithms, we are going to schedule the reservation by first predicting the time a job. Okay, by which one is going to enter into the queue first. If for example, if you are going to get a ticket in the cinema theater or in any railway station, what the queue means, first in first out at the queue. Likewise, who is going to enter into the cloud vendor first, whose request is going to be adapted first, we are going to schedule the job for them. Others has to wait, and anyway they has to wait in the queue. Then they have to submit a job at a time such that based on the waiting time prediction, the problem that will be running at the start of the reservation is maximized. Since no actual reservation can be done here, VARQ job can run on traditional job schedulers, which will not distinguish the regular best effort jobs and the VARQ jobs. Okay, it still depends on the job abstraction only. This VARQ is still depends on the job abstraction. And then next one is what they are going to planning based approach. Third approach is planning based approach. What this planning based approach is going to do? This is immediately planned by making a reservation. This is immediately planned by making a reservation. Okay, how this reservation going to be done? A person called Hofstede. Hofstede is a person who proposes planning based approach to scheduling the job. In this technique, the job requests are immediately planned by making a reservation, whether it is now or in future, instead of waiting in a queue. That is going to be immediately the plan has to be performed and the reservation will be performed, and that job has to be scheduled at a particular person. Thus, advanced reservation are implicitly supported by planning based system. Additionally, in this concept, each time a new request is received and the entire schedule is re-evaluated to optimize the resource usage. Each and every time a new claim will be there. For each and every new claim or new reservation, the planning schedule will be re-evaluated and the entire schedule will be optimized. For example, a request for an advanced reservation can be accepted without any preemption. In first technique, use preemption. Here, first of all, we won't allow any preemption. Since the job that were originally assigned to those resources can be assigned to different resources also. Okay. And then reservation with virtual machines. What is virtual reservation with virtual machines? What we are going to do in this process? In advanced reservation, we are going to reserve the virtual machine. There is a main challenge in this virtual machine. One is preparation overhead, another one is runtime overhead. There are two different types of challenges. These challenges as an ability to suspend, migrate, and resume without modifying any reservation. In preparation overhead, what we are going to do is nothing but first of all, when using the virtual machine, we have to implement the reservation. While using the virtual machine, automatically we have to implement the reservation. And then a virtual machine disk image must be either prepared on the fly, in the sense immediately, or transferred to the physical node where it is needed. Once the virtual machine has been implemented, the reservation process is going to be started. At the time of reservation process, the virtual machine disk or image must be either prepared immediately or transferred to the physical node wherever it is needed. That is known as preparation overhead. Since a virtual machine image can have a size in order of gigabytes, this preparation overhead can significantly delay the starting time of the reservation. This delay is occurred due to some unacceptable advanced reservation that must start at a specific time. That is known as preparation overhead. And coming to the runtime overhead. In runtime overhead, once the preparation is completed, the runtime overhead, the VM machine starts running. Once the VM virtual machine start running as per the preparation overhead, the scheduling primitives such as checkpoint and receiving can occur. In this runtime overhead, it is going to focus on checkpoint and resuming concept. Since the virtual machine has the entire memory space must be saved to disk and then read from the disk. After checkpoint and resuming process has been done, then the migration process has to be involved. The migration process involves transforming this memory along with the virtual machine disk image. Similar to this deployment overhead, this overhead can result in noticeable delays. Okay, and finally, what we are going to discuss in this reservation virtual machine is nothing but Heize. Heize is a project. Heize is a person who created this project. That's why the project is named under his name is Heize. In this Heize, what he is going to do means the Heize project was created to develop a. Actually, this Heize product is created to develop a scheduler. This project is nothing but to schedule the advanced reservation, which is going to support the advanced reservation efficiently by using the suspend, resume, and migrate capability. We are having three types of capability. One is suspend capability, resume capability, migrate capability. Whenever they ask about the scheduling concept, these three important keywords should be important: suspend, resume, migration capability of virtual machines. And then by minimizing the overhead of the virtual machines also, this project is going to be developed. Okay, the fundamental resource provisioning abstract in this Heize is lease. It is going to focus on lease. What this lease means in general, what is meant by lease? If I'm going to migrate from Tamil Nadu to Andhra Pradesh on behalf of my job, I'm going to migrate my family also. While migrating my family, I want to take one home. The home may be given in rental, or else I will buy a new home of my own, or else if there is no money means I don't want to take the home in rent wise. So I want to take the home by in lease for 1 year. I will pay you 2 lakhs. For 1 year, I will take your home. I won't give any rent. Instead of that rent, I am giving you lease amount of rupees 2 lakhs. After 2 years, you may give back my money 2 lakhs. After that, I will give, return your home safely. That is known as lease. Likewise, in this Heize project, what they are going to do means they are going to create a lease technology. In this lease technology, what they are going to do means they are going to preserve the resources in advance with best effort as well as immediate lease. There are three types of leases. One is advanced reservation leases, best effort leases, and immediate leases. So these leases can be done by means of three ways. These advanced reservation leases are going to do some resources which are available at a specific time only. We can't do this advanced reservation in any time. At specific time only the resources can be available. What about the best effort resources? The best effort resources is nothing but as soon as possible, whenever you want the resources, it can be available. The requests are placed on a queue if necessary. That is known as best effort resources leases. Immediate leases, where resources are provisioned when requested or not at all. Even there is no request, by on seeing the project, we can come to know at this point of time this person needs this software, so we have to provide. Whether he's going to, for example, if I am entering the class, when I'm entering the class, one person in the front bench wants to go out. He is seeing my face again and again. He wants to tell something. I can recognize that person is want to go out, want to meet his class in charge for some reason, for project. He wants to meet his guide. That's why he's standing and sitting. His face looks like some different action is there in his face. And then I will ask, what do you want? Why are you feeling uneasy? At that time, you can tell that I want to meet my guide, sir. And then I will request you to go. That is known as immediate lease. Okay. Okay, there are three different types of lease. What we are discussing this is project. By means of this leasing model, what we are going to do is nothing but, in this leasing model, what they are going to do, by means of three different types of leasing, we are going to schedule the resources. How is easy lease scheduling is going to done? By when managing a private cloud with limited resources, an immediate provisioning model is insufficient. So we don't go for this an immediate provisioning model. A lease-based resource provisioning model that can act as a backend for OpenNebula is going to be act. So backfilling process is going to be act here in OpenNebula, which supports the provisioning model other than immediate provisioning model in existing cloud providers. When managing in advanced reservation, when managing a finite number of resources, we are using this type of leasing models. The remainder of this leasing model is going to explain about the algorithm, how to schedule these leases. Okay, how to address preparation and runtime. We are having two different types of overhead. One is preparation overhead and another is runtime overhead. How this preparation overhead, runtime overhead going to be addressed? These two types of overhead is going to be addressed by means of disk image transform before starting, and then from catching technique. The lease can be defined as that there is a definition of lease. How the lease is going to be defined? A negotiated or non-negotiable agreement between a resource provider and a resource consumer, where the former agrees to make a set of resources available to the latter based on a set of lease terms presented by the resource consumer. What it means, what the definition tells about, just I read out the definition again. A negotiated or renegotiable agreement between a resource provider and resource consumer. There should be agreement between a provider and consumer where that forms a set of resources available later. In advance, I'm going to reserve, which I want to use that resources later based on some terms presented by consumer is said to be a lease. If I'm going to take a home for lease, I need some terms and conditions. Your family members should not enter into the home for this 2 years. I will give you 2 lakhs, but your family members should not enter into my home for 2 years. After returning back my 2 lakhs only, you should come into the home. Like that, there is a terms and condition. That condition is said to be a lease. The term must encompass some additional conditions such as hardware resources required by the resource consumer, such as CPU, memory, and network bandwidth. There should be a good network bandwidth. The memory space should be sufficient, and IO device process may be efficient. All those things should be satisfied. A software environment should also require for the lease resources, and also an availability period during a user request that the hardware and software should be available. And this leasing model is going to focus on the availability of the dimension of lease, and in particular, how efficiently it is going to support the advanced reservation. How does the best effort lease is going to work? The best effort lease is going to work by means of scheduling using queue, backfilling algorithm, and depend on record disk management. Okay. If a lease is preempted, it is suspended by suspending its virtual machine, which may either be resumed on the same node or migrated to another node and resumed there. So as I told you earlier, we are having 3 different types of techniques. First one is suspending a virtual machine. Second is resumption, and again suspension. The suspension in a virtual machine results in memory stage image filing, and then resumption requires reading the image back into memory, and again the suspension is going to be occur of a single virtual machine is done at a rate of S megabytes of virtual machine. Okay, next we are going to discuss about capacity management to SLA commitment. What this capacity management to meet SLA commitment, what it is going to explain. In SLA, service level agreement, we are having some rules and regulation. That rules and regulation should be satisfied by means of this capacity management also. If there is a temporal behavior of services with respect to resource demands, if there is a temporal behavior with respect to resource demands, which is highly predictable, then that capacity can be efficiently scheduled using this reservation. Okay, that is known as SLA commitment. In this section, what we are going to discuss is nothing but a less predictable elastic workloads. For these workloads, exact scheduling of capacity may not be possible. Rather, capacity planning and optimization are required. For less elastic workloads, we won't follow exact scheduling. Instead of exact scheduling, we are going to use capacity planning and optimization technique. What this capacity planning and optimization is going to do? In this capacity planning, we have to make sure that SLA obligations are met as contracted with the service providers. These SLA obligations are met as contracted with the service providers or not. This is the capacity planning. In continuous optimization, the resource utilization in specific workload to make most efficient use of existing capacity. This continuous optimization is going to check the resource utilization of the workload, whether it is most efficiently using the existing capacity or not. Okay, and then there is a agreement between the cloud consumer and the end user. This SLA between the owner and the end user is having some high level SLA. And this SLA act between the cloud provider and service owner, as I told you already. This cloud provider task depends on the elastic on demand, where the memory space can be increased or decreased as per the requirement of the consumer. And what is the problem they are going to focus in this SLA commitment is all about specification of resource allocation. There some specific metric for resource allocation is the main problem what they are going to focus. Okay, for this problem, what is the solution? How we can recover this resource allocation problem? For this problem only, as I told you in the previous point, elastic on demand. The elasticity of the application should be contracted and formalized as a part of a capacity availment SLA between the cloud provider and the owner. That is said to be a reservoir. In reservoir also, what they are going to do means they are going to create a elastic application. They are going to create a contract between the elastic memory availability as a SLA. Okay, let us discuss this in an infrastructure SLAs. What is the main approach of this infrastructure SLAs? Let us take an example of the reservoir. In reservoir, if you want to manage the capacity with the help of SLA commitment, what we have to do? IaaS can be regarded as a giant virtual hardware store where the computational resources such as VM, VAN, virtual application network, and VD, virtual disk, can be ordered on demand in the matter of minutes or seconds. So what we are going to do means here we are going to order the VM, WAN, and VD. After order all those things, we have to take an advantage of concept called fine-grained resource allocation. Fine-grained resource allocation. What is fine-grained resource allocation is going to do is nothing but it is going to share the platform, hosting platform. With the help of this hosting platform only, we can run the guest OS. As this research suggests, the fine-grained temporal and spatial resource allocation may lead to improvements in the capacity utilization. By means of this fine-grained resource allocation only, we are going to improve on the capacity utilization. In Amazon EC2 also, they are going to offer small or large or extra large general purpose virtual machine as well as high CPU or medium CPU and extra large instances as per the requirement of the consumer. It is also possible for them to provide IO input output processor in high range or low range or memory high, storage high, etc. Other IaaS providers are GoGrid, FlexiScale, Zoho. Like that, it will follow the same strategy. So in order to deploy a service on a cloud, a service provider orders some virtual hardware which is suitable for them, and that virtual hardware should be installed in its application software. By means of installing this application software in the hardware, we can provide a infrastructure as a service. For example, if you are taking a 3-tier application, which may contain 10 general purpose small instances to run front-end tools, 3 large instances to run on the application service cluster, which controls the load balancing and redundancy, and 2 large instances to run a replicated databases. A risk mitigation mechanism to protect user experience in the IaaS. A risk mitigation mechanism is useful to protect the user experience in the IaaS model is offered by infrastructure SAL signed between service provider and IaaS provider. And one more thing, there is no universal approach to this infrastructure SLAs. There is no universal approach for the infrastructure SLA. We are having 3 different SLAs. One is no SLA, probabilistic SLA, and another one is deterministic SLA. No SLA, the main approach of infrastructure SLA is no SLA, probabilistic SLA, and deterministic SLA. What this no SLA is going to do? There are two premises based on this no SLA. One is cloud always spares some capacity to provide an on demand. And second one is services are not QoS sensitive. Quality of service will be somewhat low. It won't depend on the quality of service. It is suitable for only the best effort workloads. And coming to the probabilistic SLA, it allows us to trade capacity availability for cost of consumption. Availability for cost of the capacity may be available for cost of consumption, as well as the lower the availability of percentage, the cheaper the cost of resources consumption. How much low you are using the resources, then your cost also reduced. This type of SLA is useful for small and medium business and for many enterprises such as grade applications. And finally, you are in deterministic SLA. This deterministic SLA, when compared to all other two different types of SLAs, it is 100% available whenever you require it. The 100% and is more straightforward. It is guaranteed that it is suitable for critical services. Okay. And then it will this infrastructure SLAs will focus on probabilistic SLAs. Most probably it will focus on probabilistic SLAs, however, because they represent a more interesting and flexible option and may lay foundation for the rest of the statistical multiplexing of the capacity. There are three different types of elastic rules. In this, we are going to perform some elasticity rule. There are three different types of elasticity rule. Before going to elasticity rules, what is my elasticity rule? What this elasticity rule is going to do? This elasticity rule is going to scaling or descaling the policies. This elasticity rule is going to scaling or descaling the policies that guide transition of the services from one configuration to another to match changes in the environment. Guide transition of the services from one configuration to another to match the changes in the environment. The main motivation of this rule is the policies terms from the pay-as-you-go billing model of IaaS clouds. The service owner is interested in paying only for what is really required to satisfy workload demands. All those topics we are already explained. Elasticity rule is nothing pay-as-you-go concept. If you are using any resources for that usage, they are going to create a bill. For that bill, you have to pay the amount. If you are using a fan, light, fridge, AC, everything, for that you have to get a electricity bill. Then so you have to, what are the electricity you are consuming? For that consumption of electricity, you are going to get the bill. You have to pay the amount. Likewise here also, in elasticity rule also, we are going to perform the same thing. Okay, here we are in three types of rules. One is time driven, second one is OS level metrics driven, and third one is application metrics driven. What these three types of rules are going to do in elasticity rule? In elasticity rule, the first time driven. This rule changes the virtual resources array in response to timer event. According to the time, the resources may be respond. Okay, the sensor, room temperature sensor. If the room temperature is high, means it will change the display. Now the temperature of the room is 38 degree. If the room temperature is low, means it will comes to 28 degree. Like it will change as by viewing the temperature, the value will be changed. Time to time, the value will be changed. For example, services with well-known business cycles. That is next one is OS level metrics driven. What this OS level metrics driven is going to do? Okay, these rules react on predicates defined in terms of OS parameters. The best example is auto scaling policies, where the load balancing is going to be performed. However, the problem here is, in many cases, this mechanism is not precise enough. And third one is application metric driven. This is a unique reservoir offering that allows an application to supply application specific policies. When compared to all other driven policies, this is the most commonly used policy in the reservoir, which monitors the information supplied by the service specific monitoring props running inside the VMs. and then policy driven, and then we are going to discuss about policy driven probabilistic admission control. In a business day, if you are dividing the number of usage windows, the general template is probabilistic infrastructure SLA. This probabilistic infrastructure SLA is going to act on a concept called ARL. ARL is nothing but acceptable risk level. What this acceptable risk level means? This acceptable risk level is going to control over the subscribing of capacity, memory capacity. And then it is going to focus on BSM aligned admission control. What is BSM? Business side management is to BSM aligned admission control. And then it is going to focus on equivalent capacity. Okay, equivalent capacity. What this equivalent capacity is, there is an algorithm for this equivalent capacity, efficient capacity planning. The equivalent capacity is known as efficient capacity planning. In this efficient capacity planning, it is going to guarantee the minimal over provisioning of the research problem. It is going to provide the resources for all the applications. The policy driven management is a management approach based on if and then condition. If condition and then action will be done. First of all, it will check for the condition. If the condition is true, then the corresponding action will be performed. This policy serves as a basic building blocks for automatic computation. Partially, the difficulties lie in the hardness of solving multiple knapsacks. Solving multiple knapsacks, or it is more general version. The generalized assignment problem also focus. The generalized assignment program. What are the generalized assignment problems we are having? NP hard in the strong, or knapsack problem, or bin packing problem is there. The knapsack problem is for no capacity augmentation, and bin packing problem is now for with capacity augmentation. We have so much abstract equivalent capacity. And then we are having a concept for management policies. This is a policy driven probabilistic, and then management policy and management goals. What this management policy and management goals is going to do? The policy management is an overused term. The policy-based management is an overused term. Therefore, it is beneficially to define and differentiate our approach to policy-driven admission control and placement optimization in more precise terms. What it is going to do? What is the main goal of this management? There is a policy. For each and every management, there is a policy. They have to follow this policy. By means of this policy only, they have to provide the resources to the consumers. They should not overcome the policies. That policy is nothing but if-then rule. By means of this if-then rule only, they have to overcome the policies. If you want this one, then only I will do this process. If you are paying this much of amount, then only I will provide you this resources. This is the if-then rules condition. Okay, what is the goal? To avoid ambiguity, we term some goals. The main goal is conserve power. What this conserve power means? We have to prefer some local resources over remote resources, and then we have to balance the workload. By balancing the workload, we can minimize the VM migration. Okay, this is the thing where we can overcome the complexity of the resource allocation. Okay, here we are having two different types of optimization technique, placement optimization. In first phase, we are going to low effort the placement. In second topic, we are going to management the policy. That is management policy and management goals. Okay, and we are having three different types of abstraction levels. The first level is business, second one is service included, and third one is infrastructure, ICT level. What is ICT level? The ICT level management policies will introduce the notation of ARL, acceptable risk level. ICT level management is used to introduce the notation of ARL. In business level goals, we are having a concept of ARL, capacity allocation congestion. We are interested in minimizing the cost of capacity or provisioning. However, this is used to minimize the cost of capacity or provisioning. We are interested in usage of existing capacity also. At some point, the conflicts or congestion in the capacity allocation may cause SLA penalties that is opposite to advantage of yielding the maximization. Finally, the best in general, the infrastructure level management policies are derived from the business level management goals only. For example, consider our sample business level management goal to reduce the energy expenses by 30% in next quarter year. This goal can be employed among others for achieving it and improve the consolidation of the virtual machines on physical host by putting excessive capacity in a lower power consumption mode. Thus, a site-wide ICT power conservation level management policy may be formulated as minimize number of physical machines while protecting capacity availability SLAs of the application services. The another example is if you are considering a business level management goal such as improve the customer satisfaction. In first example, we are going to, what is the first example? We are going to reduce the energy consumption. In second example, we are going to improve the customer satisfaction. Here, how we are going to improve the customer satisfaction? By means of load balancing. It minimizes the number of virtual machines migration. If you minimize the number of virtual machine migration, the customers will be satisfied with the low cost. And the performance degradation necessarily occurs during the VM migration also. These are said to be the management policy and management goals. Okay. As of now, the second topic is over. And in your syllabus, we are going for the third topic in the next class. The first two topics are completed in the third unit. Let us discuss about the remaining topic in the next class. Participants we are having. Okay, only less number is there. Okay, let me push the attendance. Those who are present the last session itself. Okay, because here only 15 members are there. Okay, now you can leave the session.